Real shit. Like, I really don't want us to get into it and then, like, you gotta go against the politics. Cause, bro, I swear to God, you a mark. You know you is, bro. On God in heaven. And I'm not talking about woo-de-woo. I know real blood. You know how real blood is.
Oh, nah. Oh, damn. Oh, nah, what?
Nobody warned her this would happen. Nobody told her the past doesn't knock politely. 1 minute Chrisean Rock is moving on, glowing up, posting like she finally escaped the chaos. And the next minute her emotional baggage pulls up in real life with zero warning and maximum audacity. Blueface did not text. He did not call. He did not check the vibes. He simply showed up like a plot twist nobody ordered. And suddenly the internet smelled blood in the water. What happened next was not cute. It was not calm. It was not growth. It was a full-scale emotional detonation that made reality TV look like a nature documentary. Tears, tension, awkward stares, and that unmistakable energy when everyone realizes something just went terribly left. This was not closure. This was unfinished business kicking the door down. Social media lit up faster than a group chat during a celebrity arrest. Fans took sides like it was the Super Bowl of toxicity. Memes were born, deleted, resurrected, and weaponized. And Chrisean. She looked like someone who realized too late that healing is not linear when your ex treats boundaries like suggestions. This was supposed to be her new chapter. Instead, it turned into a leaked episode of chaos that makes the Kardashians look boring. And once you hear what really happened behind the scenes, you'll understand why nobody walked away clean from this mess. Let's get one thing straight before anyone pretends to be shocked. This did not come out of nowhere. This was not random. This was not unexpected. This was a slow-motion car crash that everybody saw coming but still stood on the sidewalk to film. Chrisean Rock and Blueface are not just exes. They are unfinished business with Wi-Fi, trauma receipts, and a fanbase that refreshes timelines like it's breaking news. Every time one of them breathes, the other one somehow hears it. So when Chrisean finally appeared to be moving on, people didn't celebrate. They waited. Because history has taught the internet one brutal lesson: peace never lasts when chaos still knows your address. Chrisean was glowing differently this time. New energy, new confidence, new man. The captions were lighter. The smiles looked real. And for the first time in a long time, the chaos wasn't driving the car. Or so it seemed behind the scenes, though the tension never left. You don't just erase a relationship that played out like a live-streamed emotional roller coaster. Too many public fights. Too many humiliations. Too many moments where love and toxicity shook hands and decided to go viral together. That kind of history doesn't disappear. It waits. And it always chooses the worst possible moment to reappear. Chrisean's new situation wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It wasn't screaming for attention. And that might have been the real problem. Because silence hits harder than insults when someone is used to controlling the narrative. The internet noticed how different she seemed. Less reactive. Less chaotic. More grounded. People started saying things like she looks happy and this feels healthier. And those words are dangerous in a storyline like this. That's when the whispers started. The vague posts. The suspicious timing. The energy shift that only happens when someone feels replaced. Blueface didn't post directly at first. He didn't need to. He let the ambiguity do the talking. Because nothing fuels speculation like silence mixed with ego. Fans read between the lines like it was a crime novel, and suddenly everyone knew something was coming, and then it happened. He pulled up. No warning, no buffer, no respect for the moment, just presence. And presence alone was enough to shatter the illusion of calm Chrisean had been building. Imagine thinking you've moved on, only to see your past standing 10 feet away, reminding you of every emotion you thought you buried. That is not closure. That is emotional whiplash. The moment word spread that Blueface had shown up, the temperature changed instantly. This wasn't a casual encounter. This wasn't friendly. This was dominance disguised as coincidence. Pulling up is never accidental in situations like this. It's a statement. It says, I still exist in your world whether you like it or not, and Chrisean felt that message immediately. People close to the situation say the energy shifted the second he arrived. The smiles vanished. The comfort evaporated. Chrisean's body language changed like someone flipped a switch. Suddenly, she wasn't present anymore. She was spiraling internally, trying to hold herself together while cameras and eyes watched every micro-expression. This is the part people don't talk about. The emotional labor of pretending you're okay when your past is standing right there daring you to react. Her new man was caught in the middle of a situation he did not sign up for. One moment you're minding your business, the next you're standing next to a walking headline with unresolved beef and a fanbase ready to dissect your soul. He didn't need to say anything. His presence alone added gasoline to the fire. Because now this wasn't just about old feelings. It was about pride, about territory, about ego bruises that never fully healed. Chrisean tried to keep it together. That's the wildest part. She didn't explode immediately. She held it in. She breathed. She tried to stay composed. And that restraint made everything worse. Because when someone like Chrisean goes quiet, it means the storm is building. Her eyes told a completely different story than her words. You could see the internal battle playing out in real time. The internet caught on instantly. Clips started circulating before the moment even ended. Slow motion breakdowns, zoom-ins, speculation captions. Everyone suddenly became a body language expert. People weren't asking what happened. They were asking how bad it was about to get. Because nobody believed this would end peacefully. Blueface's presence alone reopened wounds that never healed properly. This wasn't about jealousy in the traditional sense. This was about control. About history refusing to let go. About two people who built a public identity around chaos trying to exist separately in the same universe. And the universe said no. As the tension thickened, Chrisean's emotions started leaking through the cracks. Not screaming yet. Not yelling. But the voice change was there. The posture shift. The way her focus disappeared from the present moment. She wasn't reacting to what was happening anymore. She was reacting to everything that had ever happened between them. And that's when the meltdown became inevitable. This wasn't a random breakdown. This was accumulated pressure finally demanding payment. Years of public humiliation. Years of defending someone who embarrassed her. Years of trying to convince herself that chaos was love. All of it came rushing back the second he pulled up uninvited. And no amount of "I'm moved" on captions could protect her from that emotional collision. People love to judge from the outside, but this was a textbook trauma response playing out in real time. Fight, flight, freeze. Chrisean froze first. And when someone like her freezes, it means the explosion is coming next. The calm before the storm wasn't peaceful. It was terrifying. By the end of that moment, everyone knew one thing for sure. This situation was no longer private. It was no longer controlled. And it was definitely not over. Blueface pulling up didn't just interrupt her new chapter. It ripped pages out of the book and reminded everyone that this story was far from finished. And this was only the beginning. What came next was about to turn this emotional mess into a full-blown public spectacle nobody could look away from. Once Blueface pulled up, the moment stopped belonging to the people involved and got handed straight to the internet like a loaded weapon. There was no cooling off period, no grace window, no "let's process this privately." The clip escaped into the wild and social media did what it always does best when emotions are raw and boundaries are non-existent. It turned the situation into entertainment, commentary, judgment, and digital warfare all at once, within minutes. Timelines were flooded with slowed-down clips, zoomed-in reactions, and captions that ranged from sympathetic to savage. One half of the internet screamed that Chrisean was being emotionally ambushed. The other half laughed like it was primetime reality TV. Nobody asked for context anymore. Context is boring. Chaos sells better. And this chaos was premium quality. Memes popped up faster than facts. People compared the situation to a surprise boss battle in a video game, except the boss is your toxic ex and the arena is your new relationship. Others joked that this was like finally leaving a haunted house, only for the ghost to follow you home and knock on the door unannounced. And while the jokes flew, Chrisean's emotional unraveling became the centerpiece of the spectacle. Her reaction wasn't explosive at first, which somehow made it more uncomfortable. She looked like someone trying to keep their dignity intact while their nervous system was actively betraying them. The laughter that didn't quite land. The forced calm. The pauses that lasted too long. That's the kind of energy that tells you someone is holding back tears with pure willpower. And the internet noticed every single crack. Meanwhile, Blueface's demeanor didn't help. He didn't need to say much. His presence alone felt intentional, calculated, and loud in the quietest way possible. People accused him of doing what he's always done best, inserting himself into Chrisean's life right when she looks like she's finding peace. Others defended him, claiming coincidence, chance, bad timing. But coincidence doesn't usually come with this much tension. Then came the commentary accounts, the breakdowns, the hot takes delivered with fake concern and real sarcasm. Everyone suddenly had a psychological thesis on Chrisean's emotional state, trauma bonding, attachment issues, narcissistic cycles. Words got thrown around like confetti at a parade nobody asked for. And somehow, every take sounded confident, even when it contradicted the last one. The new man became collateral damage almost instantly. The internet dissected his body language, his facial expressions, his silence. Was he uncomfortable? Was he intimidated? Was he confused? Or was he already regretting stepping into a situation that comes with a fandom, a history, and an emotional minefield? People projected entire narratives onto him without him saying a single word. That's the curse of entering someone else's viral storyline. As the clip spread, the tone shifted from shock to mockery. Jokes got harsher. Empathy started evaporating. Because once the internet decides something is entertainment, humanity becomes optional. People laughed at Chrisean's pain while simultaneously criticizing her for not being healed enough. It was the classic contradiction. Heal faster, they said, while replaying the footage that triggered the breakdown in the first place. Celebrities didn't stay silent either. Some threw subtle shade. Others posted cryptic tweets about boundaries, growth, and letting go without naming names. And everyone knew exactly who they were talking about. It became one of those moments where no one wants to be directly involved, but everyone wants their opinion counted. Silence would have looked like indifference, and indifference is career suicide in moments like this. The wildest part was how fast the narrative flipped. At first, Chrisean was the victim of an emotional ambush. Then she became the punchline. Then she became the problem again. Then sympathy swung back. It was a pendulum powered by engagement metrics, not reality. And through it all, Chrisean's actual feelings got buried under think pieces and reaction videos recorded from people sitting comfortably behind screens. This wasn't just a personal moment anymore. It was a cultural event, a reminder of how women are expected to heal publicly, gracefully, and on a schedule approved by strangers. If she reacted, she was doing too much. If she didn't, she was still stuck. There was no winning. Just surviving the cycle long enough for the internet to find its next obsession, and Blueface. He stayed trending without saying much at all, which, ironically, might have been the loudest move of all. Because when someone knows their presence alone causes chaos, silence becomes power. The speculation fed itself. Was he trying to sabotage her happiness? Was this about control? Or was this simply to people who never learned how to exist separately without dragging each other back into the spotlight? As the memes peaked and the outrage hit full volume, something else happened quietly in the background. Chrisean's composure cracked completely. Not in a dramatic explosion, but in the kind of emotional collapse that feels heavier because it's internal. The smiling mask slipped. The exhaustion showed. This wasn't about Blueface showing up anymore. This was about realizing that no matter how far you run, some chapters don't close cleanly. The internet, of course, kept refreshing, waiting for the next clip, the next reaction, the next escalation. Because now that the chaos had erupted, nobody believed this was the end. This felt like the middle of a storm, not the aftermath. And storms like this never pass quietly. They leave damage behind. By the time the discourse reached its peak, one thing was undeniable. This situation had officially crossed the line from messy moment to full-blown public spectacle. Reputations were being shaped in real time. Relationships were being questioned. And the emotional cost was climbing higher by the minute. What started as one unannounced pull-up had turned into a digital wildfire. And as the smoke began to settle, the consequences were waiting. Because when the internet finished laughing, analyzing, and choosing sides, someone always has to deal with what's left behind. When the noise finally started to die down, the silence hit harder than the chaos ever did. That's how it always goes. Once the memes stop trending and the hot takes move on to the next scandal, the people involved are left alone with the emotional wreckage. And for Chrisean Rock, the aftermath wasn't loud. It was heavy. It was exhausting. It was the kind of quiet that forces you to sit with feelings you've been avoiding for years. The internet moved on faster than she could process what just happened. One day everyone was dissecting her breakdown frame by frame, and the next day the timeline was onto a new celebrity mistake. But emotional whiplash doesn't follow algorithm cycles. The damage doesn't disappear just because engagement drops. Chrisean was left to deal with the realization that moving on publicly does not mean you've moved on internally. Her image took another hit. And not because she did something outrageous, but because vulnerability is punished online. People began labeling her again. Still stuck, still toxic, still messy, as if healing is a straight line and not a series of setbacks, triggers, and uncomfortable truths. The narrative ignored the obvious. She didn't chase chaos this time. Chaos showed up uninvited and demanded attention. The relationship with her new man became awkward territory almost immediately. Not because he did anything wrong, but because no new relationship likes to be introduced to the ghost of the past on a public stage. Trust gets shaky when a third presence dominates the room without even speaking. The internet speculated endlessly about whether he would stick around or quietly exit stage left before becoming a permanent character in someone else's drama. Blueface, on the other hand, remained polarizing. Some applauded him for standing his ground, others dragged him for inserting himself into a situation that wasn't his anymore. But one thing became painfully clear. His influence over Chrisean's emotional state was still very real, whether either of them wanted to admit it or not. That realization alone was a loss for both of them. What followed wasn't another explosion. It was something more uncomfortable, reflection. The kind that doesn't come with captions or live streams. The kind that forces you to confront patterns instead of blaming people. Chrisean began to look less reactive online, not because she didn't care, but because she was tired. Tired of reliving the same storyline with different backdrops. Tired of being everyone's favorite headline and least favorite lesson. Industry insiders whispered about branding, image management, and damage control. Because moments like this don't just affect feelings, they affect opportunities. Sponsors watch, networks take notes, and every viral meltdown becomes part of a permanent digital resume. Chrisean's name continued to trend, but the question shifted from what happened to what happens next. For Blueface, the pull-up moment reinforced a reputation he's been trying to outgrow but never fully escapes. Whether intentional or not, his presence once again became synonymous with disruption. And in an industry that thrives on attention, disruption can be both courtesy and curse. The longer this cycle continued, the clearer it became that neither of them truly benefits from being tied to each other's chaos. The hardest truth settled in quietly. Love doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it looks like knowing when to stay away. And neither of them had mastered that skill yet. This wasn't about winning or losing. It was about recognizing that some relationships don't evolve. They just repeat until someone finally steps off the stage. As days passed, the situation stopped trending, but it didn't disappear. It lingered as a cautionary tale, a reminder that public growth is fragile, that healing in front of millions invites commentary from people who don't carry the emotional weight, and that pulling up unannounced can undo months of progress in seconds. The chaos erupted loudly, but the consequences whispered. And those whispers are often more dangerous because they stick around. They shape decisions. They influence future choices. Chrisean Rock didn't just have a meltdown. She had a moment of forced clarity. And those moments, uncomfortable as they are, tend to change the trajectory of everything that comes after. This story doesn't end here. It never does. Because when two people share history this explosive, the fallout echoes long after the cameras stop rolling. Now, let's be real for a second. If you made it this far, you're already invested. Don't sit there acting brand new. Smash that like button like it owes you money and never paid you back. Drop a comment and tell me straight up, was this an emotional ambush, a calculated pull-up, or two people who can't quit the same toxic cycle? I want unfiltered opinions, not polite ones. And if you're watching this without subscribing, that's wild behavior. This channel doesn't miss when it comes to celebrity chaos, industry breakdowns, and scandals that somehow get crazier every single week. We don't sugarcoat. We don't whisper. We say the quiet parts loud and let the internet deal with it. New scandals drop constantly, and if you blink, you miss an entire meltdown. Turn on notifications so you don't get caught up late asking, wait, what happened? When everyone else already moved on. Because trust me, this story isn't over. Not even close. There's always another pull-up, another leaked clip, another plot twist waiting around the corner. And remember this, healing is messy. Fame makes it louder. And the internet never forgets. This has been Celeb Insanity, where celebrity drama isn't just reported, it's dissected, exposed, and served uncut. Exposed and served uncut.